The scene unfolded at the archery competition, where 2 rounds of shooting had already transpired. Presently, the 3rd round commenced, and the commentators declared it to be the final one. They observed Sang, the youngest contestant in the championship, consistently hitting bullseyes, achieving a perfect 10 each time. Speculating aloud, they pondered whether Sang could maintain his streak with his final arrow. Sang approached to take his shot, releasing the arrow with precision, striking dead center once more. The crowd erupted in cheers as the host lauded Sang's skill, labeling him a genius. That day marked Sang as the youngest victor of the national championship. Later, upon reflecting on his triumph, Sang found himself back in reality, facing his boss in the office. His boss, visibly frustrated, flung papers at him, demanding to know the cause of his distraction. Sang promptly apologized. The boss instructed him to prepare the documents again, reiterating their purpose. Sang agreed and retrieved the papers, pondering where he had left off. Exiting the boss's office, Sang felt content with his performance that day. Later that evening, at Sang's residence, he watched a video commemorating his national championship victory, remarking on how swiftly 10 years had passed. Archery had once been his passion, but pursuing it necessitated substantial financial resources. Residing with his elderly grandmother, Sang had no alternative but to prioritize academics, striving for a scholarship. He invested all his energy into studying and practicing. While recognition for his potential was gratifying, shooting arrows remained his sole reward. Nevertheless, he remained optimistic about his future. Sang felt a surge of gratitude toward his coach, who had facilitated his introduction to the company where he presently worked. Without that opportunity, Sang feared he might have remained unemployed indefinitely. Contemplating his past, Sang concluded it was sufficient. Thus, he decided to unwind by watching a gaming stream. Upon perusing available options, he noticed that most streams featured the immensely popular Full 5 game, currently in vogue. He marveled at how immersive the game felt, akin to stepping into another world, facilitated by a device known as a capsule. The game, often referred to as a capsule game, came with a significant drawback. Capsules were exorbitantly priced, a luxury beyond the reach of an average individual like Sang. Merely watching it online felt like a stroke of luck for him. He tuned into a stream where the creator had to dispatch a boar with a bow within a tight 15-minute window to claim a prize of 100,000 won. Asserting with confidence, the creator declared his certainty in achieving the task, and indeed, he succeeded in slaying the boar, seizing the reward. Yet, some viewers cast doubt on whether the creator had missed the mark. A challenger then wagered 5,000 won, alleging that the creator hadn't used just one bow. Incensed by the accusation, the creator, believing in the game's limitless possibilities, attributed his failure to the lag caused by his antiquated machine. As Sang perused through the comments, he couldn't shake off the suspicion that the creator's assertions regarding the game's mechanics were somewhat exaggerated. Despite any flaws, streamers always seemed to draw ample viewers, including Sang himself. In those days, Sang was willing to give his all, and his efforts were acknowledged by everyone around him. He powered down his PC and retired for the night. The following morning, at the office, the boss delivered unexpected news. A restructuring was underway, hinting that if Sang departed voluntarily, they would ensure his welfare, but if he awaited dismissal during the restructuring, his prospects would diminish. It was then that Sang resolved to tender his resignation. The boss appeared surprised, inquiring about Sang's seriousness. Sang affirmed his decision, referencing the boss's prior offer of a favorable severance package upon departure. Acknowledging Sang's prompt decision-making abilities, the boss urged him to formalize his resignation that day. He reassured Sang, advising him not to feel disheartened, as he possessed connections that could aid in his transition. The atmosphere at Sang's workplace seemed fraught, with employees ranging from recent university graduates to those polishing their resumes. Some had pursued overseas study, deeming proficiency in English insufficient. With limited options, they all strived to enhance their prospects. That evening, as Sang settled in at home, he found himself unable to shake off the memory of being the youngest national champion a decade ago, a time when he was just a modest high school graduate with nothing remarkable on his resume. Contemplating his next steps, he received a notification that his favorite YouTuber was live streaming. Intrigued by the notion that the gaming realm held endless possibilities, Sang entertained the idea of transitioning into a proficient streamer himself. Reflecting on the potential allure of revisiting his past prowess in archery to capture attention, he considered the example of Bubblegum, a streamer whose gameplay prowess didn't match the size of their audience. Comparing such streams to the broader landscape, Sang pondered the abundance of skilled streamers. He realized that beyond showcasing individual talents, many were honing their skills through observation, akin to the dynamics of traditional sports. In this realm, progress unfolded gradually, mirroring the ethos of Sang's erstwhile passion-filled youth, a journey marked by competition, advancement, and personal growth. As Sang crossed paths with his friend Kim, he couldn't contain his excitement about purchasing a capsule. Kim's reaction was immediate, his jaw dropping in disbelief. "Are you out of your mind?" he exclaimed, astonished that Sang was investing all his money into gaming. Sang quickly reassured him, explaining that he wasn't intending to indulge in gaming anymore, recalling the time he had fabricated stories about his archery equipment. He sought a fresh beginning and perhaps some success in a different realm. But Kim remained skeptical. "How do you know you'll be any good if you've never tried it?" he challenged, causing Sang to avert his gaze. Kim implored him to abandon such notions and confront reality. Sang couldn't shake the feeling that there was a deeper concern underlying Kim's worries. He remembered how Kim had been his pillar of support in his previous job, the one person he could confide in amidst adversity. Despite doubts from others, Kim remained steadfast by his side. Hailing from a well-off family and on a trajectory toward success, Kim served as an anchor in Sang's life, guiding him through uncertainty. Interrupting Sang's thoughts, Kim inquired if he was even listening and suggested that perhaps it would be wiser for Sang to visit Gangwon Land instead. Sang retorted that he wasn't skilled at card games. Kim clarified that it was merely a metaphor, then delved into the financial implications of Sang's purchase. Sang disclosed that the capsule itself cost 4,000 won. Kim pointed out that the device alone was priced at 4,000 won, not to mention the additional accessories and the subsequent spike in electricity bills. Sang queried if he required anything beyond the 4,000 won device. Kim concurred, questioning whether Sang truly believed he could get by with just that. Sang pondered if it could amount to 40 million won. Kim countered, explaining that even if Sang possessed a car worth 100 million won, what he truly needed was financial stability, a prospect currently out of reach. He then suggested that Sang wait until he finished work. Later, they arrived at the capsule rental facility. As they ascended the stairs, Sang wondered if this was where capsules were utilized, rather than sold. Kim bumped into Kang, who introduced himself and overheard their intention to purchase a capsule. Offering a solution, Kang proposed selling them the remaining capsules at a discounted price. Sang suspected Kang held a higher position in the establishment, a presumption not unusual for someone of elite status. He silently signaled his approval to Kim, who seemed perplexed by Sang's sudden gesture. Upon entering, Sang observed the multitude of capsules scattered about. Kang beckoned him closer, triggering a sense of discomfort as he approached. Guiding Sang through the process of verifying his physical information, Kang explained the necessity of biometric data for capsule usage, assuring that it would be a swift procedure. Once everyone completed the formalities, Kim expressed gratitude to Kang for his assistance. Kang waved it off casually, dismissing it as nothing. However, he offered a word of caution to Kim's friend, implying Sang, advising him to reconsider immersing himself fully, given the allure of gaming rankings and streamers that often led individuals astray, especially considering the current costliness of games. A crowd of individuals often harbored misconceptions about their gaming prowess, only to confront the stark reality that it differed vastly from their expectations. Kim remarked to Kang that even with the full 5, the distinction between games and reality remained palpable, prompting the question of whether this disparity truly held significant weight. Kang concurred, emphasizing that while individuals could leverage their physical abilities in the gaming realm, the absence of physical constraints rendered discernment a critical factor, ultimately hinging on mental resilience. Reflecting on Sang's predicament, they noted his struggles at the company, which ultimately led to his termination. Kang speculated that Sang might abandon his pursuit after just one trial game, suggesting that Sang find solace in that possibility. Kim mused over whether that outcome might indeed be preferable, potentially superior to squandering his entire fortune on a capsule. Redirecting his attention to Sang, Kang disclosed his selection of archery for Sang to play, leveraging Sang's prior experience in the sport. He assured Sang of setting up the capsule accordingly. Seated within the capsule, Sang received instructions from Kang to simply report his score, after which they would deliberate. With that, Kang sealed the capsule shut. As the capsule sealed shut, Sang experienced a peculiar sensation, as though his physical form remained grounded while his consciousness embarked on an ethereal journey. Abruptly, he found himself standing on an archery field, adorned in armor, with a bow and arrow poised in his grasp. A resonant voice greeted Sang, affirming his innate talent bestowed upon him since childhood, and proceeded to provide guidance. Sang was awestruck. The experience felt remarkably authentic, akin to participating in the Olympics. Encouraged by the voice, Sang prepared to release his first arrow. However, apprehension gripped him, causing his hands to tremble with nervous anticipation. Observing Sang's hesitation, Kim voiced his concern, while Kang speculated that nervousness was a common occurrence among players. Sang, renowned for his composed demeanor, puzzled over his uncharacteristic anxiety. He discerned subtle discrepancies in the tension of the string and the familiarity of his grip, yet gradually, his hands steadied. Emboldened by newfound confidence, he released the arrow, striking the center of the target with precision. The voice heralded Sang's achievement, awarding him a perfect score of 10 points. Kang and Kim stood in astonishment at Sang's exceptional display of skill. Commending Sang for his swift and accurate shots, the voice continued to award him 10 points for each successive arrow. Sang's prowess in archery left Kang and Kim marveling. Kim remarked to Kang on the divergence between the virtual and real worlds, to which Kang concurred, noting Sang's remarkable adaptability and hinting at a deeper significance. Intrigued, Kang probed Kim for insights into Sang's true identity. With the culmination of the game, the voice declared Sang's experience concluded. Kang promptly unsealed the capsule, expressing admiration for Sang's performance and suggesting that it would be wasteful for him to settle for anything less than a first-rate device. Kim echoed praise for Sang's achievement but observed his friend's subdued demeanor. Concerned, he inquired if Sang experienced any motion sickness. Kang persisted in his inquiry about Sang's true identity. In response, Kim disclosed Sang's past as the youngest gold medalist in archery, a career cut short by a tragic accident. Kim expressed a fervent desire to support Sang, affirming his unwavering belief in Sang's true identity as an archer. Chapter 3. Kim reminisces about his past as a singer, likening it to releasing an arrow into the past, perhaps forgotten. Sang finds it puzzling how one could forget something so vividly etched in memory, recalling the abrupt halt to his archery career due to a tragic accident. The memory of the doctor's indifferent demeanor still stings, leaving Sang emotionally raw. Attempting to compose himself, he brushes away his tears, feeling a sense of embarrassment. With the setup of the capsule complete and the program installed, Sang heads home, struck by the realization that he could commence streaming that very day as though it were a routine affair. Expressing gratitude to Kang for offering him a favorable deal on the capsule, Sang ponders whether it truly doesn't amount to a loss for Kang. Determined to embark on his streaming journey, he selects the game Kingdom Age. Set in medieval times, Kingdom Age delves into the life of a mercenary, emphasizing realistic and gritty combat. While not among the most popular games, it boasts a dedicated fan base owing to its distinct allure. Compared to other widely streamed titles, Kingdom Age enjoys moderate recognition. Given its challenging nature and relatively sparse streamer presence, Sang views it as an ideal choice for a novice like himself. After completing the character appearance customization, the full dive into the game commences in 5 seconds. As Sang initiates the game, a sudden voice commands him to wake up. Startled, he finds himself lying in a cart, nursing minor injuries amidst the chaos of a nearby battle. A fellow individual chastises Sang for his apparent sluggishness, offering assistance to snap him out of his daze. Sang realizes that this person is the one who struck him, offering a hasty apology before disembarking from the cart. Urged by Roman, Sang hastily arms himself with a weapon as bandits launch an attack. Sang was presented with the option to select his weapon, expecting the game to pause momentarily for his decision. Puzzled by the absence of the bow and arrow among the choices, he was startled when a comment popped up, querying if it was a bow challenge. Surprised by the sudden influx of viewers, Sang realized 5 people were watching, affirming his choice of game. Prompted by the comment, he questioned why the bow was considered a challenge, considering its effectiveness. In response, a viewer elucidated the complexities of managing arrow count and the risk of hitting allies or encountering armor deflections. Grasping the mechanics, Sang expressed gratitude for the insight. While the viewer recommended opting for the sword as a beginner, Sang remained steadfast in his decision to wield the bow. The viewer praised Sang's determination, appreciating the unique challenges beginners brought to the game. Feeling embraced by the supportive community, Sang mused over the whereabouts of the bow he had selected. Suddenly, a man wielding a bow stumbled in battle and fell, the weapon tumbling into Sang's hands alongside a cache of arrows. The viewer applauded Sang's success in dispatching the bandits. Roman, however, urged Sang to eschew hesitation and engage in combat directly. Doubting his own capability, Sang hesitated, but the viewer encouraged him to ignore Roman's doubts and press on. Summoning his resolve, Sang took aim and successfully struck a bandit in the head. The experience felt akin to participating in the real Olympics, blending elements of traditional archery with modern techniques. As he grew accustomed to the gameplay, Sang questioned whether an arrow could inflict only one hit. In response, the viewer elucidated the game's realistic mechanics, simulating vital organ locations and incorporating a headshot mechanic. Sang expressed gratitude for the clarification and resolved to proceed one shot at a time. The viewer chuckled and affectionately commented on Sang's endearing demeanor. Though Sang initially interpreted their remark as disbelief in his abilities, he remained resolute in proving himself through tangible results, adhering to principles of sportsmanship. Realizing the numerical parity between the bandits and his available arrows, 20 of each, Sang calculated precisely 1 arrow per target. He swiftly dispatched the enemies, marveling at their rapid defeat and maintaining his momentum. Taking note of the dynamic nature of the battlefield compared to stationary archery targets, Sang acknowledged the potential challenges of close-quarters combat and contemplated the risk of expending arrows versus engaging in melee combat. Observing Roman's swordplay, Sang recognized an opportunity when Roman engaged a bandit, seizing the chance to deliver a well-aimed shot at the exposed flank. As the dust settled, Sang speculated that the bandits may have been hiding, with the shield-bearer assuming leadership. However, he noticed a lull in the chat's activity, surmising that perhaps shooting arrows wasn't entertaining enough for them. Suddenly, an influx of messages flooded the chat, expressing astonishment at Sang's accomplishment, slaying the boss. Confused by the reaction, Sang sought reassurance from a viewer, who affirmed that defeating the boss was permissible, albeit challenging due to the boss's resilience. Recollecting the advice on aiming for headshots, Sang chuckled, realizing that indeed all his shots had struck the mark. The viewer elucidated the boss's evasive tactics, prompting Sang to question whether achieving maximum power required fully drawing the bow. Feeling a bit perplexed, Sang sought clarification on the difficulty of aiming at full draw from the viewer. Approaching Sang, Roman commended his remarkable marksmanship, garnering praise from all the viewers amidst the evolving dynamics of the stream. Sang felt a surge of happiness as he disclosed his name, Almond, to Roman, who vowed to relay Sang's prowess to the mercenary captain. Grateful for the recognition, Sang basked in the affirmation as the viewer dubbed him Streamer Almond, promising to remember his name. The Kingdom Age community, aptly dubbed the Kingdom Age, had fallen into a state of stagnation, mirroring the game's own inertia. While its members were ardent enthusiasts, the absence of noteworthy events and meaningful interaction had rendered the community an echo chamber, where discussions regurgitated familiar topics among the regulars. However, a single post emerged as a catalyst for change, earning accolades from Roman himself. Upon sharing a video, Roman's praise sparked intrigue, leading some to speculate if the content might have been clickbait. Nevertheless, Roman's genuine commendation prompted questions. Had he been playing a counterfeit version of Kingdom Age, and wasn't tackling the How Challenge, a feat usually reserved for seasoned pros? Despite the recent creation of the account, the challenges posed seemed rather straightforward. The following morning, Sang, browsing on his PC, was taken aback by the influx of comments directed toward him. He expressed surprise at the attention garnered, remarking that he never anticipated such reactions. One comment playfully teased the streamer for lacking a proper moniker, eliciting a chuckle from Sang. Nonetheless, he appreciated the community's willingness to share the link. Sang stumbled upon a comment questioning whether even a veteran like Electron found the boss fight challenging. The mention of Electron jogged Sang's memory. He recalled seeing the name among the top rankings while scouting for skilled streams. Rumored to be a former professional gamer and renowned for his top-tier skills, Electron, also known as electromagnetic, commanded respect in the gaming community. Intrigued, Sang delved deeper into the comments, stunned by the comparisons drawn between himself, a fledgling streamer with just one broadcast under his belt, and industry titans. Dumbfounded, he queried the authenticity of the praise bestowed upon him. Just as he pondered this, his phone rang, interrupting his thoughts. Wondering about Kim's whereabouts, Sang answered the call, greeted by the sound of clinking utensils as Kim enjoyed a meal. Kim inquired about the success of Sang's stream the previous night. Expressing gratitude for Kim's concern, Sang confirmed that the stream went well. Kim then expressed relief, asking about the functionality of the capsule and voicing his own concerns about the situation with their boss. Sang assured Kim that the capsule was functioning properly. Curious about Sang's viewership, Kim inquired if he received any views. Sang admitted to receiving a modest amount, totaling 20 views by the end of the stream. Kim's surprise drew the attention of their colleagues, prompting him to apologize for the interruption before turning back to Sang to inquire about his successful debut. Sang attributed his viewership to selecting a popular game for his first stream. Kim, taken aback by Sang's talent, questioned why he was still at their workplace. Sang countered with a hypothetical scenario, asking if Kim would refuse an opportunity to enter a prestigious company if presented with one. After exchanging pleasantries, Sang mentioned his imminent stream and bid farewell to Kim, who expressed admiration for Sang's dedication, noting his colleagues' reluctance to work during lunch or dinner breaks. As Kim engaged in conversation with their boss, Sang reflected on his decision to prioritize streaming over meals. He mused that even meal times felt like wasted opportunities, eager to immerse himself in streaming as soon as possible. The anticipation stemming from comparisons and judgment within the gaming community fueled Sang's determination, reigniting a sense of competitiveness and excitement he hadn't felt in a while. Encouraged by the attention and feedback from viewers, Sang affirmed his passion for gaming, likening himself to a true sportsman. With resolve, he prepared to commence his stream, greeted by enthusiastic comments from viewers who marveled at his unexpected midday broadcast. Sang couldn't help but notice the accelerated pace of the chat compared to the previous day, pondering the extent of his current viewership. Sang was taken aback by the sudden surge in viewership, as the number of viewers had skyrocketed to 189, a ninefold increase from the previous day. The unexpected buzz within the relatively small community left him feeling somewhat overwhelmed, facing a level of attention he had never experienced before. Sensing his nerves creeping in, Sang took a deep breath, attempting to quell his apprehension. Finding solace in a mental exercise, he imagined himself detached from reality, viewing the streaming experience as nothing more than a game played from a third-person perspective. Surprisingly, this mental shift worked like a charm, magically dispelling his nervousness. With newfound composure, Sang addressed his audience, suggesting they resume from where they left off the previous day. Meanwhile, Kim sat at his desk, contemplating the need for tranquility during meals, recalling the proverbial advice against disturbing even a dog while eating. Amidst his reflections, Kim received a message from Sang, expressing gratitude for his assistance and promising to treat Kim to a drink in the future. Pleased to see Sang's dedication, Kim admired his colleague's diligence but found himself momentarily distracted, realizing he had intended to discuss something important with Sang but couldn't recall the specifics. The thought lingered as Kim was interrupted by a colleague, informing him of a meeting in Seminar Room 3. With a resolve to address his concerns later, Kim prepared to attend the meeting, pondering the topic of discussion. Meanwhile, in his capsule, Sang speculated that the meeting likely pertained to bid optimization or a related topic. Sang reflected on his preparations the previous day, where he conducted research on various aspects of streaming, including how popular streamers manage their audiences, handled controversial situations, and navigated common taboos. He emphasized the importance of maintaining audience engagement without fixating on viewer counts, aiming to foster a sense of intimacy akin to watching a friend play a game. Expressing gratitude to returning viewers, Sang's acknowledgement of their names led some to speculate if he possessed a knack for streaming. Transitioning into the game, Sang found himself mounted on a horse, a task he found familiar due to his previous experiences. Speculating on his improved performance, Sang wondered if his brief hiatus from streaming allowed him to spend more time playing the game. Introduced to a new mission by Roman, Sang explained to his audience the mundane nature of the task, likening it more to being a bodyguard than a mercenary in a war. Engaging with his audience, Sang noted their appreciation for the realistic elements of the game and their desire for further details. As Sang immersed himself in the game's realism, Roman inquired if it was Sang's first time riding a horse, prompting Sang to reveal his limited experience. Reflecting on Roman's dialogue, Sang pondered whether it was scripted or improvised, marveling at the seamless integration of dialogue within the game. Roman had mentioned that Sang would embark on a considerable amount of riding ahead. Curiosity rippled among the audience as Roman chuckled, a demeanor they hadn't witnessed before. It seemed implausible that it was indeed Roman. Inquisitively, one of them interrogated Sang regarding Roman's whereabouts. Sang found himself pondering about the speculations circulating among them. Another viewer inquired about the nature of Sang's mission, questioning if it involved the initial scenario outlined, a scenario involving a group of marauding horseback bandits. This notion intrigued Sang, prompting him to reflect on the possibility of encountering such adversaries. As they traversed their path, the sight of the approaching horse bandits caught their attention. Swiftly, Roman issued commands to his mercenaries, directing them to engage the encroaching threat. Amidst the ensuing skirmish, a bandit swung his blade perilously close to one of the mercenaries, prompting Roman to alert his comrades about the breach in their front line, stressing the need for reinforcement throughout their ranks. Observing the imminent confrontation with the horse bandits, Sang couldn't shake off the foreboding sense of a challenging ordeal ahead. Despite the mounting anticipation from the viewers, Sang remained composed, acknowledging their fervor. Accustomed to skepticism and detractors from his past endeavors in sports, Sang found it effortless to dismiss any doubts.